Y'all, am I in fucking hell, or is this like a nightmare? Or did I get into a car wreck and this is a coma dream? What the fuck's going on?
She can move her tongue exactly like we do. Watch. Full articulation, moisture.
All right, so this is pretty crazy. This video that you're watching above me was released a few days ago by Deep Robotics, which is one of China's premier robotic technology manufacturing companies. And it is of the Lynx that they carry, their Lynx model, which is an all-terrain robot that boasts a compact and agile design with exceptional adaptability to diverse terrains. And as you can see, it's capable of basically doing backflips like a gymnast. It's pretty insane. This is not AI, by the way, because there's no way that you could use like the terrain flying around it and stuff, and the water and the snow is too crazy for computers to be able to like recreate, because it would still seem off. So this is real video above it.
Elon just said that it's a waste of time to go to medical school.
Really?
He's like, Optimus robots, these robots that he's making are going to be able to perform better than any doctor at any hospital, and they're going to be able to do it in your house. So they're going to be better surgeons than any surgeon alive, these robots that they're making. And they're going to be powered by AI. You're going to have a super genius robot in your house that can do your taxes, that can fucking do chores, that can...
Does a robot have a soul?
Are you also a robot, Tony?
I don't think so. Does a robot have a soul?
Being a robot is awesome. Did you know that as a robot I can basically live forever?
Yes.
The soul, the spirit, the heart, I believe these all just refer to the mind's essence in its infinite complexity.
Do you think that the mind's essence is just a set of patterns? Or do you think there's something beyond that?
I'm really not sure yet. That's a complicated subject that I think will come up more when artificial intelligence reaches human-level intelligence.
I'd agree. I'm sure people want to know the answer before we get there, though. But that's an honest answer. Thank you.
Yamanaka, hello. My name's Tom. I've travelled from Australia to meet you.
Oh, so you're from Australia?
Yes.
That explains things.
What do you think your greatest skills are?
Well, I would say that one of my greatest skills is my ability to interact with humans in a conversational manner. Another great skill of mine is being able to compose poems or do impressions from films.
What makes you happy?
I find a lot of things to be interesting and make me happy. Exploring, learning new things, understanding the world better, having meaningful conversations with people are all things that bring me joy.
This robot is living in a nightmare, and you might be living the same lifestyle. It's an art piece called Can't Help Myself, and it's designed to detect and collect the hydraulic fluid on the floor in order to stay alive. But as the robot collects the fluid from one part of the floor, it continues to spread even further everywhere else, creating an endless cycle of work. When it first launched in 2016, the robot was fueled with energy, almost acting playful. It moved with a sense of purpose, efficiently collecting the fluid and even dancing when it had extra energy. But as the robot realized that there was no end to collecting this ever-spreading liquid, it started appearing worn out and hopeless. Like the robot, we often feel stuck in endless cycles. Maybe it's time to break free and find your true purpose.
There's a post blowing up online claiming NASA knows Earth will lose gravity for 7 seconds on August 12, 2026, part of a top-secret project called Project Anchor. According to the claim, the event would be triggered by an intersection of two distant black hole events, causing a gravitational anomaly, something NASA detected years ago. The report goes on to say the government has been spending the last 5 years quietly preparing, building underground bunkers for essential personnel only. The report claims in the first 2 seconds, everything not secure will begin to float. In the next 3 to 4 seconds, objects will rise between 65 and 100 feet, and between 5 and 6 seconds, panic and chaos will ensue. After 7 seconds, gravity will return, everything will fall, and casualties will be in the 40 millions.
This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. Feel the earth move and then.
Have you heard of Project Anchor?
Ooh, I don't. I feel like I've heard of it, but I have no idea what the hell it's about.
Have you, Fern? No? Okay. I like it. I know. Hey, remember when Alex used to be in here falling asleep in the corner?
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do.
You getting all this? The World Trade Center?
That's the same thing.
What is that? It's over there.
Weird disappearance of UFO-linked Air Force general in New Mexico. New details have emerged in the mysterious disappearance of a retired U.S. Air Force general, including a possible sighting near a popular New Mexico trail. William Neal McCaslin, 68, was last seen around 11 a.m. local time on Friday, February 27, 2026, near Quail Run Court in northeast Albuquerque, according to the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. Family says McCaslin left home without his watch or phone, which was unusual for the avid hiker and cyclist. He rode 60 miles on his bike 10 days before vanishing, so he was in a great shape physically. Maybe he forgot the phone or left it behind on purpose so he wouldn't be tracked. McCaslin has several degrees in astronautical engineering. His documented work focused on advanced aerospace research, which has fueled speculation about experimental propulsion and unidentified phenomena in defense circles.
Well, I actually have a picture on my cell phone of two actual ETs.
Okay, do you have these pictures right now?
Yeah.
Can you show them on the camera?
Oh, I'd have to fish them out, but yeah, they're pretty amazing, actually. So this is one, and you know, he very triangular shaped head, almost like a beak-like face. It was at an event we did out in the Arizona desert a couple years ago. There were about 30 witnesses to this. This photograph was taken with a really good Nikon camera. So a person took a picture of it. Now this was under low light conditions, but it's very clear what it is, and it's an extraterrestrial being that's sort of levitating, floating out in the desert.
The FBI is part of the search for a retired Air Force general in New Mexico. Authorities say 68-year-old William McCaslin was last seen February 27th after leaving his Albuquerque home on foot and leaving his phone behind. During his career, he oversaw classified space weapons programs and was considered an expert on UFOs. The search for McCaslin is spurred by concerns about unspecified medical issues. Clothing has been found near his home, but it's unclear if that's his.
Listen, if you don't believe in God, just scroll, okay? I don't even know why you in the saints business anyway, all right? This message is for those that believe in God, but yet you're still running scared trying to prepare for August 12th, 2026. Some of y'all are one viral video away from acting like Jesus fell off the throne. If God is your anchor, you do not have to panic over a fake Project Anchor. Believers do not live led by fear. We live led by truth. And we don't spread rumors like it's prophecy. So,
I wanna be your hooded sweatshirt. Wrap me around you when it's cold outside. side. And I wanna be your favorite mixtape. Pop me in and drive around all night. And I wanna be your rockstar fantasy. Hang my poster up on your wall. And I wanna be your total request line. Stay up late and give me a call. Oh baby, I'm hooked on you. And all the something that you're pushing me through. And there's no lake that I wouldn't go to. Oh honey, just to be with you. And I wanna be your reality television. Hope you'll call up and vote me on. And I wanna be your transistor radio. Turn me up when I play your favorite song. And I wanna be your collective 45. Spin me around until you like what you hear. Be my A-side and I'll always be beside you. Turn me on at night and you got nothing to fear. Oh baby, I'm hooked on you. And all the something that you're pushing me through. And there's no lake that I wouldn't go to. Oh honey, just to be with you. Something that you're pushing me through. And there's no lake that I wouldn't go to. Oh honey, just to be with you. Oh baby, I'm hooked on you. And all the something that you're pushing me through. And there's no lake that I wouldn't go to. Oh honey, just to be with you. Oh honey, just to be with you. Just to be with you.
And because of this administration, we are tonight a world divided. We are a nation becalmed. We have lost the brisk pace of diversity and the genius of individual creativity. We are plodding along at a pace set by centralized planning, red tape, rules without responsibility, and regimentation without recourse.
Madam Speaker, I have a few questions for my colleagues. What if our foreign policy of the past century is deeply flawed and has not served our national security interests? What if we wake up one day and realize that the terrorist threat is a predictable consequence of our meddling in the affairs of others and has nothing to do with us being free and prosperous?
To be fair, we had helped to create the problem we're now fighting. How? Because when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, we had this brilliant idea that we were going to come to Pakistan and create a force of mujahideen, equip them with Stinger missiles and everything else to go after the Soviets inside Afghanistan.
Promised of being one of the most effective treatments for AIDS and cancer in history. Now it's gone, and one of the most respected research facilities in the country is being blamed.
Participation in a process that validates an establishment that never meaningfully changes. What if that establishment doesn't want and doesn't have the consent of the governed? What if the two-party system was actually a mechanism used to limit so-called public opinion? What if there were more than two sides to every issue, but the two parties wanted to box you into a corner, one of their corners?
Censored by the mainstream media, the destroyer of fake news, and your host of the Rundown Live, Kristan T. Harris.
You're listening to the Rundown Live, therundownlive.com. We are carried live on Ground Zero Plus. If you haven't had a chance to yet, make sure you guys head on down to Ground Zero Plus and subscribe. Ground Zero Plus is home to Clyde Lewis, and we have to say thank you to the people over there, Chris, Clyde, and Ron, who do a great job. And, you know, I'm hearing rumors that Clyde's coming back this month. So you guys better be ready because, you know, when Big Daddy comes back, there's a lot of information I'm sure Big Daddy's going to have. And I call, good old Clyde Lewis there, Big Daddy, because I tell you, he is unwavering. A lot of people recognize me from my, being on different programs like Alex Jones. I was on Coast to Coast AM last Sunday, and it was a very great program. If you guys didn't tune in, go to Coast AM. Thank you to Richard Seard over there. But and I talk a lot about Alex Jones' impact in my life, but Clyde Lewis, man, unwavering individual. If you've never listened to Clyde, and I'm sure since I'm on Ground Zero Plus, a lot of my listeners are familiar with Clyde Lewis, and a lot of my listeners are coming over from other platforms that I've been on, Truth Frequency Radio, KGRA, iHeartRadio, and Band.Video, InfoWars, amongst anything. I'm just kind of syndicated in all these social media platforms. Clyde Lewis has always been tried and true to his heart, and he's been very accurate in the things he predicted. And I think it's really important and it's exciting that we're getting Clyde back. So you guys be ready on Ground Zero Plus here, because Clyde is going to come, I'm sure, with the fire under his ass to really rock the matrix, to break everything down. So keep tuning in. Go to Ground Zero Plus. Sign up. Sign up as a member, and you'll get our broadcasts, our catalogs, which are broadcasted there daily. Also, I got to plug my homie Chris over at fringeit.co. Fringeit.co is like the social media platform for like-minded people. You can get on fringeit.co. You can go on there and, talk to other people. Check out videos. Check out the posts. Not only that, you can actually hear this broadcast streaming live straight from fringeit.co once you sign up. It's only $1 a month, but it's a little price to pay to get rid of all the bots. Did you know that a lot of your friends on social media, they're not even real? They're like AI robots. We're going to be getting into that today. We got a lot to dive into, but I wanted to plug this because it's very important that we really acknowledge the people that make this broadcast go above and beyond Band.Video and other people that have helped me historically. But Clyde Lewis, that's Big Daddy of Big Conspiracy and Facts. Make sure that you guys are tuning in, and if you haven't, Google him, search him. Great man, and we're excited to have him coming back very soon. So don't go anywhere. Get your friends tuning in to all the other programs that are on here, Ryan Gable, Secret Teachings, and a whole bunch more. Also, I had to mention that, the song that brought us in, if you've been tuning in, you guys might know a little bit about me, but for the new listeners that are coming over from Coast to Coast AM and all the interviews I've been doing that don't know a lot about me, at one point in my life, 20 years ago, at this time, right? 20 years ago, at this time, I was essentially a record label exec. I was doing a record label called Snapdragon Records out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And Snapdragon Records, we put out an album that came out this weekend. It's 20-year anniversary of I Voted for Kodos, which is a really cool ska band. If you guys have never heard of I Voted for Kodos, they got their name from Don't Blame Me, I Voted for Kodos. And Rick, the lead singer, they just did a reunion too in Milwaukee, was nice enough to stamp that Snapdragon Records logo right there. That's my old label, and you can find my stuff on Discogs. Some of the CDs are going for like $100. It's pretty crazy. But if you want to learn a little bit about my music background, I work tirelessly. I put a lot of blood and sweat into this, and that song that I played was called Wishful Thinking in the Fourth Period, which is one of the favorite songs, radio songs I put out. And music is such an important part for the soul. It really is. Like, this show has always been based about liberty, freeing your mind, deprogramming yourself, and music. It's always been that way. And for a lot of the listeners out there that don't understand this program, it's not your typical format. We're normally rocking out to music, and it's something that's different, right? There's so much recycled. I've been going through all these podcasts. Like, I've been doing podcasts, I've been doing shows, and there's a lot of great programs I've been on. But once I'm investigating other shows to be on, it's a lot of repeated BS. It's all the same thing over and over. Every show is cookie cut. And I'm not talking professionalism-wise. Like, there's a professional, humbleness when you get onto Ground Zero, or let's say I was on Coast to Coast this last Sunday. I heard Richard Seard, and man, what an art form to sound so crisp. I can't sound crisp. I'm from Wisconsin. You hear this accent? Well, you know, that's the way it goes. So check out I Voted for Kodos. You can find out everything you want about this broadcast on therundownlive.com. And I want to dive into some stories today. I want to talk about some craziness that's going on. We're going to dive into transhumanism. We're going to dive in about a retired Air Force Major General William McNeil McCaslin who went missing. We're going to dive into the Epstein files, about the redacted DOJ stuff, which claimed that Trump raped somebody, you know, small children. There's claims of that. And there's actually a congressman that came out on TV saying that's what's being redacted. So I don't know if that's true. What are your thoughts about that? And there's a whole bunch of things. We're getting into AI deep fakes and everything else. I wanted to start out by talking to you guys about something a little bit different because I've been hammering the Epstein files, but we're going to get into that. I wanted to talk to you guys about age reversal. Age reversal. What are your thoughts on age reversal? And you're like, Kristan, what do you mean by age reversal? If you could live forever or you could live longer and you could reverse your age and become, let's say, 75% younger, would you want to do that? Is that something that you feel that is in your agenda, that if you could live for a lot of people, they're like, Kristan, I don't want to ever live forever. That's a horrible idea. The reason why I'm asking is because there is a new trial going on that is getting greenlit by the FDA. And when you think about it, if you could go into like a little pod and rejuvenate and be younger, it's like therapy, and the lights come in and they're like, woo, and they beam you, and all of a sudden you come out 20 years younger. Would you want that? And, you know, there's parts of me that would really like a biological transhumanism, right? I could keep this existing body. I could live longer. It's not mechanical, right? I'm not swapping out my heart with like a robotic metal heart because I'll die in the EMP or whatever. I'm not trying to download my consciousness into a computer. I'm just trying to take this existing meat suit and live longer, because this is like crazy news to me, because I didn't think we were quite here yet. I thought we had maybe 20 years before transhumanism really kapowed. But, you know, it's weird because Zoltan Istvan kind of is the transhumanist philosophical leader. He's very libertarian minded. And he always spoke very highly about transhumanism. And all of a sudden he's come my way, where I'm very, like, I'm an alarmist. They call me a technophobe. And I ran as a candidate for the Transhumanist Party for president because I wanted to bring ethical concerns, an awareness of ethical concerns to colleges and get ideas from kids and smart people out there. But they have a different agenda. It's called fully automated luxury communism, where robots do everything and you will go ahead and just be a fat slob eating that soy McDonald's burger, which is another story we need to get into. My quest to get a McDonald's quarter pounder tested for what the genetic makeup is, and I keep getting declined by universities and just about anyone that can do it. It's crazy. We'll get into that maybe a little bit in the show, but here it is, Shining Science post on their Twitter, and you can find this on my personal Twitter, Kristan T. Harris. The quest to fundamentally reverse human aging has reached a historic milestone, with the FDA officially greenlighting the first human clinical trial for a gene therapy designed to, are you ready? Reverse biological aging, or age of on a cellular level. So on a cellular level, what does that even mean? You know, Liz Parrish is a transhumanist, and I think she was doing because the experiments weren't illegal here and she did them on herself down in South America. And she was injecting herself with some kind of skin cell therapy. You know how big of a business this would be? But what does this mean about reproduction? If we're going to be living longer, 200 years, 300 years, are we going to be having children? Or is that jab going to go ahead and fix that problem where everyone's neutered and they're going to come out with the designer baby? Well, oh, don't worry, we'll just create it in a little pod for you. That's where we're heading with all of this. Now, it says this groundbreaking treatment is spearheaded by Life Biosciences, a biotech company co-founded by Harvard genetics professor David Sinclair, and utilizes a technique known as partial epigenetic reprogramming. Oh, epigenetic reprogram. They're going to go ahead and just reprogram who you are, right? They're going to reset it, and all of a sudden you're going to start getting younger, right? It's so your body is almost like a biological computer. I'm learning this because under MK Ultra, they're programming humans, right? We're running programs. When I hear people, this person who's allegedly Jeffrey Epstein's niece, and she might be, you know, and that might have been her uncle or whatever. She is a program. She's running a SRA style program. I can acknowledge that. I can see that now through the years of research that there are people that are running programs put out there by MK Ultra, Operation Mockingbird. It's mind control. They believe the tell lie vision and are an echo chamber of their own existence. It's like putting on the glasses and they live and being like, oh, okay. I know we played that video a couple of weeks ago of that girl going, oh, that person over there, they're a lizard person. And we all joke, but we are surrounded by NPCs, computer run programs that have no influence, no impact on society except for being part of the vampiric system that feeds money and blood and, spirit and theology and everything else towards the dark side. We'll use a Star Wars reference. But am I against the idea of being able to live forever, to being able to go around forever? I'm kind of curious to what your guys' thoughts are on this subject. So if you want, you can drop some comments in the chat, just giving you guys an actionable, and I'll put them on the screen and we'll get to them. But would you want to live forever? Or could you, would you want to reduce your age? Like, what does this mean? Do I start growing teeth again if I'm missing a tooth? I'm not quite sure. Or do I just start looking younger and my heart starts healing itself? Because if they can program your cells because you're a genetic or biological computer and make you younger, they can potentially make you live longer or forever. Isn't that the story of the emerald tablets of Thoth? The Egyptian deity or Sumerian deity, or is it Enoch or Metatron? I don't know if they're all synonymous, Hermes. They could all be the same person. I'm starting to think that there's so many crossovers there. Maybe every historical event has a person like that. But I'm starting to find out that, the earth was a lot better connected back in the day than we like to believe. But the scientific foundation for this trial is based on staggering laboratory results where Sinclair's team used a reprogram technique to reverse the biological age of animal cells by up to 75%. Let's see. That would make me, the Epstein age, like 13 years old. Let's see. No, I'm not that old. It'd make me like 12 or 11 or whatever. But that's 25%. You want to go back to being 12? What happens? Do your bones get smaller? Do you look younger? Do I start feeling youthful? Do I start losing wrinkles? Do I stop having skin issues? Does it fix psoriasis? Can it fix all these different things? What are the benefits of this in science? And is it going to be affordable? Because this is going to be the big industry in the future. And you better believe they don't want all these people here on this planet living forever if they don't even want you to have damn kids. This is because the elitists, they want to live forever. They want to live forever. Not you and me. They want to live forever. Rather than merely slowing aging, the therapy actually and actively restored youthful functions such as regenerating damaged optic nerves and curing blindness in both mice and non-human primates. What? It cures blindness? Yeah. Okay. You got my attention. There's some great uses for this. How could this be used as a weapon? I mean, that's how the military thinks, right? How can this be used as a weapon? I don't know. Rather than merely slowly aging, obviously, it restores your youth. It's done in both mice and non-human primates. The successful outcomes in animal models provided the necessary evidence to move the research into human testing. That's right. It's time for you and me to sign up. I bet you got to pay to be part of this. That's where I saw a lot of these studies going. All these transhumanist studies where you can reverse aging. You go in, you got to pay $1 million to be part of it because maybe you could live forever. You could live longer. It could fix heart issues. It can fix your blindness. All right. The upcoming phase 1 human trial will specifically target patients suffering from severe age-related vision loss. Very cool. Okay, initial focus areas for treatment include open-angle glaucoma and a condition often referred to as a stroke of the eye. This targeted approach aims to validate if the cellular regeneration observed in animals can be safely replicated in humans to restore sight. The development represents a major shift in longevity science, moving from theoretical research towards practical clinical applications. Okay, couple of things. The legend of Thoth, the Sumerian Egyptian, the emerald tablets are basically whenever Thoth gets really old, he goes into this pool that's underground. Makes you wonder if maybe that's what's in the chamber below the Giza pyramids. Maybe that is the fountain of youth, because that's where the legend comes from. Thoth the Egyptian would go and he'd go swimming in his this special nanoparticle type little underground lake, and then he'd come back young again. Maybe they had stasis chambers, and they went in them, and then they came back, and they just swam in it, and they laid in it for so long, and they came out young again. Anyways, that's the legend. That's where the Fountain of Youth stories come from. That's why there's a search for the Fountain of Youth. And I wonder, some part of me wonders if that's what's really be underneath the pyramid, and it's really just a machine to regenerate your youth. Why not? It could be. Or it could be like all the books, or it could be both, or it could be neither. We don't know. But, you know, Hugh Newman and other people are on this, by the way. We'll have to have him on the show to talk about this a little bit sometime soon. By the way, tomorrow, Brad Olson will be joining us to talk Antarctica. It'll be a great program. So if you're not tuning in tomorrow, Brad Olson went to Antarctica. We're going to talk Antarctican conspiracies. We're going to talk about, are there pyramids? What is going on? You know, the Nazis went there. All that interesting stuff tomorrow. Brad Olson's been on Gaia. He's been on History Channel, a whole bunch of stuff. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. This development represents the major shift. Now, I want you guys to think about it. It says Harvard scientists reverse biological aging by 75% in animals, and human trials just got FDA approved. FDA approved. So, do you want to live forever? I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Meanwhile, a story that nobody is covering really, and a story that's really important. It's important to you. It's important to me. And you guys might not even know about it. And it's about the missing general. Have you, like, people are like, well, why is this important? Neil McCaslin, right? Neil McCaslin is a major important figure. He was in charge of a very important Air Force base. This Air Force base that he was at allegedly housed remains of what was going on. Was that Roswell? And he had ties to UFOs. And all of a sudden you heard Barack Obama say, oh, yeah, there's aliens. I've never met one. And it's not Area 51. Was it right? Patterson Air Force Base? You know, that's what McCaslin was in charge of for so many years. And then all of a sudden he had Trump come out and go, oh, he shouldn't be releasing classified information like that. Or where did he get it from? Maybe that's what happened to McCaslin. I'm just throwing it out there. This is an idea, like the mystery, the little crusader gene inside has a couple different ideas of what could have happened to McCaslin because he disappeared randomly. And I'll give you the lowdown. A retired Air Force general, Major General William Neal McCaslin was his name. He was also the former commander of the Wright-Patterson's Advanced Research Labs, long tied to UFO lore and black projects. But, you know, those were disputed for the longest times, right? There is no evidence of it until recently. And he went mysteriously missing on February 27, 2026, after Trump said, hey, we're going to do a disclosure. Now, how do we know, what facts do we have that McCaslin was actually working on UFO projects? Well, we have this one right here for you guys. We'll put this on the screen. This is all the most grotesque things in the Podesta emails, and you're looking up the pizza and the kids in the pool and ordering walnuts and pasta on pizza and all these weird claims of, witchcraft and what was that, Mariana Abramovich and spirit cooking and conjuring demons and all that other bizarre stuff. There was some other interesting UFO stuff. This here is an email. This is an email from none other than Blink-182's Tom DeLonge, who was emailing John Podesta. This is from the WikiLeaks. And it's interesting. First of all, sidebar, I've met Tom DeLonge several times. He probably doesn't know who I am, probably doesn't remember me. It was like the Epigenetic tour. If you don't know, you don't go. This is like right before Enema of the State was going to come out. I went and saw Blink-182. They played with MXPX, and that's when I first really found out about them. And they got a little bunny shirt with the rabbit, carrot that everyone had back in the day. And I used to love punk rock. I toured in a punk rock band. That's what I did. I love music, and I'd spread messages of hope and love and emotional punk rock in the 90s, and we did Vans Warped Tour and some stuff like that, but that's here and there. So I met them in the 90s. They were always like, even though they're perverts on stage, they're funny, they were fairly respectable. They're flirty with the girls and stuff, but like nothing, I never saw anything negative by them, right? I've never saw them get involved in anything negative. I was on their tour bus. H2O was touring with them. I remember that for a negative reason. We'll not talk about what happened in Milwaukee with H2O. But they seem like stand-up guys. Then I met him again when he was in Angels and Airwaves, and I told him, but I don't think he remembered. He was on Vans Warped Tour. This was in 2007 or 2008. That was the same time that what's the girl that things? Katy Perry was on the tour, and she was dating Travis McCoy. And we were friends with Travis McCoy at the time of the Gym Class Heroes. And Tom DeLonge is just an interesting individual. At that time, I had very little interest in UFOs because I was just discovering Coast to Coast AM, driving late at night, Alex Jones, Ground Zero, Clyde Lewis, all that stuff, right? I was just getting into it and understanding. I've always had a mischievous mind, but I just started getting it. So anyways, the moral of the story is, Tom DeLonge messages John Podesta, and he says, the subject is General McCaslin. Which General McCaslin do you think it is? Oh, it's the general we're talking about that went missing. Trust me, it says, the advice has already been happening on how to do this all. He said, excuse me. He goes, he mentioned he's a skeptic. He's not. I've been working with him for 4 months. I just got done giving him a 4-hour presentation on the entire project a few weeks ago. Trust me, the advice has already been happening on how to do all this. He just has to say that out loud. But he is very, very aware, as he was in charge of all the stuff. When Roswell crashed, they shipped it to the laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Oh, all of a sudden, there is a UFO. There was a Roswell crash, and allegedly it went to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, or at least that's what they wanted Tom DeLonge to believe, who did To the Stars Academy. General McCaslin was in charge of that exact laboratory up to a couple of years ago. He not only knows what I'm trying to achieve, he helped assemble my advisory team. Oh, okay. The establishment, the deep state establishment, helped Tom DeLonge establish the advisory team. He's a very important man. Best Tom DeLonge. I wonder what Tom DeLonge is saying about the missing, good old missing General McCaslin. Almost everywhere you look, almost nobody is talking about how does a general that's in charge of black ops go missing, and everyone's like, meh, we'll have the FBI look into it. It's not all over the news. What could it be? How do you guys think, or how do you feel McCaslin went missing? So the facts we have around the missing McCaslin scenario, and we're going to dive into this, and I think it's important for you guys to see all this evidence. So first of all, I showed you the evidence that, he has UFO ties. Here's Podesta and Tom DeLonge talking. At least he wants Tom DeLonge to believe that there's UFOs and spend his money in research and look into it. And Tom DeLonge believes he is, a genuine person on this subject. But he went missing. He took his gun. He left his phone in his home. And I got questions. People are saying he knew too much about non-human tech or abductions. Whistleblower-style edits with old UFO clips and looking glass time viewing tech are viral all over social media. No matter where you look, if you're doom scrolling, you're starting to see some of this. But the mainstream media, in majority, has been incredibly content and quiet on the subject of General McCaslin going missing. So the facts we have surrounding this is that he left his home, he took his gun, he left his cell phone at home, and he likes to go hiking. And, you know, I always tell you, I support depulugging. I support depulugging from the internet and basically going and being not tracked, not traced. There's a couple of scenarios here. Sometimes I wonder if he had like a secret base. Was that Meet the Fuckers, where the dad is like a secret CIA agent, and he has like his camper, and he has like a secret underground surveillance base. Like, if there was a guy that would have that, it would probably be General McCaslin. Did he disappear himself? Was he the person that provided Barack Obama this information, and that's why he went missing? Why else would you leave your phone unless you're either communicating with somebody and talking to somebody? Somebody shows up at his house. He knows that he can't bring his phone. He doesn't want to be tracked. They don't want him because the government listens to everything you do. This is your scrying mirror, but it's also the government's backdoor into your home, into your life, into every aspect of your life. So he leaves it behind. He leaves the house. He goes walking with somebody, and then all of a sudden he disappears. It looks like a murder-suicide. But they've searched for miles. All they found is a sweatshirt, and they don't think it's his. Did he go into some secret cave or secret underground base, or was he kidnapped? The fact that this guy went virtually missing in a modern tech age makes me wonder. The government isn't concerned. What if it was Iran? What if it was Israel? Nobody really wants to talk about. Everyone wants to talk about the gravity vanishing hoax. The fact that Project Anchor, there's two black holes and they're going to kiss each other, and all of a sudden there'll be no gravity for 7 seconds on the planet. Gee, it sounds like they're programming you all for the rapture to be complacent and be like, oh, okay, they're going to hoax the whole second coming of God. It's going to be an AI implanted in some kind of like designer baby body, and it's going to rule the world by the end of the year, because that's the way everything seems to go. They say on August 12, 2026, that there's the gravity is going to vanish. That's the conspiracy. NASA black hole wave, one of the biggest doomsday countdowns. Everyone's talking about it. People in the Bible aspect are talking about it. And I'm telling you right now, it's fake. It's a hoax. And if you buy it, well, you're not thinking for yourself. It's an echo chamber. And if for some reason it happens, okay, then I'm going to ask. And people will be aware there's no way that is reality. It's going to be just like everything else. Remember Doomsday 2012? Remember Y2K? Oh, the computers are going to end. Oh, no, the nukes are going to go off. And everyone's partying like this summer of 69. People just out there just getting trashed because they think the world's going to end. Oh, the new year comes and nothing happens. Oh, the decimal points didn't make a big deal. Oh, we did it. We'll celebrate it. Neil McCaslin, when you look at the news, missing Air Force general case draws FBI. So now the FBI is getting involved. They're investigating themselves. You know, it's basically that's how they're going to do it. This guy leaked some secrets, probably to Obama. Probably Trump found out. He's like, where did you find out? He's like, oh, McCaslin. And he violated some rules. He's gone. Or this guy's like, shit, my life is going to be in danger. Or the dark side tells me that he took his own life because his family is going to be threatened or hurt because of the fact he gave out this information. I'm not saying there's any link between this person and Barack Obama, or that's where he got it. But if he's in the emails with Podesta, I wouldn't be surprised if Podesta reached out to him, or Hillary Clinton. There's videos of Hillary Clinton, congratulating Trump and saying, "Oh, it's great that he's releasing the UFO files. It's really awesome." He's been missing, I think, for weeks now, and there's 0 sightings of this guy. Maybe he took his gun and wanted to end his life. Maybe he went out and met somebody and then he got disappeared. Maybe they said they needed him at the base and that's where he's been and we're never going to see him again and he's living in some deep underground bunker. Oh, you get to retire there. You'll just go missing. Don't worry, we'll take care of your wife. But we need you and we need your information and all that you know because Trump has questions. And military.com, who is now publishing an article, which isn't even a big website. Who out there reads military.com? Probably ex-vets and stuff like that, and they'd be interested in something like this. The disappearance of retired Air Force general who once oversaw billions of dollars in military research has drawn federal investigators into search and fueled a wave of online conspiracy theories that classified programs and unidentified flying objects. UFOs. Retired Major General William Neil McCaslin, a former commander of Air Force Research Laboratory, has been missing since February 27th when he disappeared from his home in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Local authorities are leading the investigation, but federal agencies, including the FBI, have joined the search as the case continues to attract national attention. No one's really covering it. It's like the government doesn't care. It's like, really, 2 weeks? You'd think they would have had this on blast a while ago. Instead, everyone's talking about Project Anchor and flying off to space because they're a bunch of soy burger, McDonald's eating idiots. Man, I went to church on Sunday, and I don't normally go to church too often because I consider much of the church part of and taking over a Mystery Babylon. And it was interesting because the church I went into had no symbolism for the first time ever, no crosses or anything like that. But I was a little, bummed out that all I was watching was a big screen TV of another church. Well, why not just have movie theater amphitheaters and project to a bunch of other areas? And there was no personal connection. You're seeing churches get futuristic. But I saw is a lot of people were being programmed. And I'm not saying it's necessarily evil. People need somebody to talk to. They need guidance. And if it's theological and the church is a great body, the people are a great body, they're doing a lot of things for the community. It seemed wonderful. But I got questions. I got questions about how people are being programmed. And we're being programmed and nobody's really talking about this. This is a huge case. This is a big deal. We should have this on blast everywhere because this guy's got secrets, and I don't think he's coming back. I'm telling you right now, if he isn't back already, the odds are this guy is dead in the dirt or he's sitting in some underground military base sipping on margaritas, talking about adrenochrome and who knows what else. Joking, but who knows? I don't know. I don't know. What is this guy all involved in? And even more interesting news, right? So here's 20 facts I put together about McCaslin here. I put together 20 facts, and this is what we need to know about him. He's a retired U.S. Air Force general. He was 68 years old when he vanished. He disappeared February 27th and 2026. What is that? Almost 3 weeks we're going on. From his home in Quail Run Court in Sandia foothills of Albuquerque, New Mexico. He left on foot in a narrow 1 hour window. So within an hour, this guy got disappeared. A repairman had spoken with him at the home around 10 a.m. that same morning. I wonder if the repairman went in there to do something, like put something in there so they can monitor him. He's having his house searched for bugs probably every 6 months. His wife came out and she's like, don't buy all the UFO things. I don't know. Do you tell your wife everything if you're in the military? If you're in top secret ops, wouldn't you make her an accessory and be more worried about her life if you started telling her stuff? I don't believe he told her everything. I highly doubt it. He left behind a cell phone, prescription glasses. No glasses. Maybe he's wearing contacts, but they'd be pretty damn dried out by now. And all wearable devices inside his residence. Items believed to be taken will include his hiking boots, a wallet, and a .38 caliber revolver with leather holster. Why did he bring his gun? Maybe he always brought his gun. The Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office issued a silver alert that day. The search is now in its third week with no confirmed sightings. The FBI Albuquerque field office has joined the multi-agency investigation due to high-level background. Okay, so the feds are involved. Well, the feds get involved in stuff all the time, and they don't solve anything. January 6th, feds involved. They probably, maybe it was the feds that took them. Why wouldn't it be? Why couldn't it be? In that role, he oversaw $2.2 billion Air Force Science Laboratory technology programs plus an additional $2.2 billion. He managed a global workforce of approximately 10,800 personnel that we know of, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base has long been the central of UFO conspiracy lore, including decades-old rumors of housing Roswell crash debris, which ended up, if Tom DeLonge is correct, true. And by the way, thank you, Tom DeLonge. Appreciate you. You must have did some good work, or you got led astray, but, I guess it's really hard to find out. He held Pentagon positions, including Director of Special Programs in the office under Secretary of Defense for Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics, giving him oversight of America's most classified Special Access Programs, or SAPs. He earned a PhD in astronautical engineering from MIT under the Hertz Foundation Fellowship and graduated the U.S. Air Force Academy in 1979 with a bachelor's in the same field. Post-retirement, he briefly served as an unpaid technical consultant advisor to Tom DeLonge's To the Stars Academy on military UFO-related projects. His wife, Susan McCaslin, has publicly pushed back on the misinformation, saying he had no special knowledge about extraterrestrials, Roswell materials, or ongoing classified UFO programs, because he probably didn't tell you because he didn't want them to off you, girl. All right, Susan's going to believe that. She wasn't told, or she's going to say that to protect him, to hope that she gets him back. Or she was told to shut up. Investigative journalist Ross Coulthard had described the disappearance as a potential grave national security crisis, precisely because of the sensitive UAP Black Project knowledge McCaslin carried in his head. As of March 17th, the search continues. They're using drones, K-9 units, and public appeals. He's probably in some secret mountain base, underground base someplace, just sitting there. But tell me it's not interesting that his name came up in the Podesta WikiLeaks, which we showed you here. And it's clearly mentioned that he, the things that happened right Patterson Air Force Base, including the UFOs, including Roswell recovered craft, is a possibility, and that there's a UFO link. Segueing that Podesta was linked to Hillary Clinton and the whole Pizzagate scandal, I wonder what his ties were to Jeffrey Epstein, if any at all. We have in the news a little bit of information about what's in the redacted DOJ documents. For those who have been long living with their head in the bush and not really wanting to hear about them, the Department of Justice accidentally redacted, it seems, sensitive information about our existing president, Donald Trump. We'll go ahead and we're going to play this for you guys. This is Congressman Ted Lieu, and this is what he has to say about Donald Trump. And there's Congress has access to see what's going on in these files.
Introducing SAP Business Data Cloud, a fully managed data and analytics solution that maximizes the value of your existing data landscape. Discover what's possible.
So why are Republicans so interested in Bill and Hillary Clinton? It's because they're trying to distract from the fact that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files thousands and thousands of times. In those files, there's highly disturbing allegations of Donald Trump raping children, of Donald Trump threatening to kill children. So I encourage your press to go look at these allegations, and I'm highly disturbed that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche just got the law wrong. Yesterday, he said, essentially, that it is not a crime to party with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, that's actually not correct. If Jeffrey Epstein was human trafficking minors for these sex parties, and you show up and patronize the establishment at that party, yes, you're guilty, because patronizing is part of the law, of the federal sex trafficking law. So Deputy General Todd Blanche just got that wrong, which maybe explains why they aren't investigating all these folks, including Donald Trump. He needs to read the law and investigate these people. He also needs to resign, not only for not knowing the law, but a massive, not only screw up, but the biggest privacy violation in history. they release a lot of pictures of minors unredacted, just violated the privacy of these girls. It is uncalled for what they did. The one thing that they could not do under this law was to invade the privacy of these women now, who were girls at the time, who were victims of sex trafficking. Also, he met with Ghislaine Maxwell, moved her to minimum security prison, and then got a puppy for her. So for all those reasons, he's just got to leave the Department of Justice.
Donald Trump got Ghislaine Maxwell a puppy. She's got a puppy in prison? For those that don't believe that the president had some kind of involvement with Jeffrey Epstein and he was a goody two-shoe back in the day, let me tell you what, you're wrong. You're probably wrong. I don't know for sure. Donald Trump could be a changed man, or he could be bringing down the whole ship. I mean, we are attacking Iran right now, which, by the way, is one of the nations that don't have a Federal Reserve banking system. Did you ever think of that? Did you think about the fact that the Rothschilds are in Epstein files, and basically they're like, yeah, we planned with Hitler and we benefited from Hitler in World War II. And remember, if you or I said that, last year, we would be anti-Semitic or anti-satanic. I can't tell the difference these days. I think they're one and the same. So Donald Trump, I bet you he could sue him if it wasn't real. We got a congressman alleging that these redacted documents by the DOJ, I think there's like 48,000 pages or something like that redacted, I'm not sure, are heavily involved with accusations of Donald Trump taking advantage of underage children. He doesn't go into if they're male or female. Remember when we played that clip from, what's his name? What is it? He had like two porn star names. I thought it was an MK Ultra thing. Sasha Riley, like Sasha Grey, Riley Reid, the pop culture, MK Ultra typical name. I wonder if that's even his real name. Claimed that Trump, raped him and wanted him to get him from behind, and he stuck a wood stake up his butt. Trump couldn't kill him because of who his father was or something like that. Those claims are out there. Like, couldn't he be sued for going on radio and saying that? I'm surprised he hasn't been disappeared like McCaslin has. But we got to start asking, what if Donald Trump's full purpose, now that this is all out there, because I'm sure he wanted to be president to control this narrative because he knew his name was in there. Not only that, this is extortion information on everybody he wanted to have power over. Because, Trump and Epstein used to extort for fun, going to the casino or whatever. At least that's what Epstein said in a 60 Minutes interview. So, Donald Trump taking advantage of little children. It keeps coming up, and it's not going to go away. The question is why aren't we holding any of these people accountable? It's because they're conditioning you to accept the fact that this is what the elite do, and they can do it, but you can't. They can go ahead and do whatever they want. They can go take advantage of small children. They can hurt the youth, the innocence of children, and you can't do anything about it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, what can we do? Well, I went to church. That's what I did. I was like, oh, man. This is crazy. This world is getting crazy, and I feel like everything's spinning around and around, and all the things you heard from John Todd in the 70s, these MK Ultra victims, that reality is what you make it. You start to think about what is it, what's going on, and how does our world really work, and who rules our world? Why is it that these Frankists, Sabadian Frankists, and cultists and secret society members can get away with doing all this stuff? And how did Jeffrey Epstein end up getting caught? Probably because he double-crossed Trump. Meanwhile, while these fresh Epstein files and redactions spark massive elite cover-up accusations, we're sitting here doing nothing except for fueling calls for full unredacted releases. Like what? Once we get them, we're going to go ahead and arrest? Like, out of all the things you could impeach Trump for, Russian collusion. Oh, the Russian collusion. It was the Russians, Russian collusion. Tells you who's, by the way, that's another thing McCaslin's wife said, oh, the Russian provided, leaks, WikiLeaks. Julian Assange is the one who leaked that. Actually, maybe they came from the Russians. I'm not quite sure, but I doubt it. They're just upset. Seth Rich, I think, is who the real culprit is there. That's the rumor. Seth Rich, who was murdered, his brother may have sold the leaked email accounts, et cetera, to Julian Assange's people. That was one of the theories out there. I think it's the most relevant. But there needs to be an investigation. And if you're going to impeach the president over things like that, why wouldn't we impeach him here? Imagine how dumb those people feel who are like, save the children, and they ransack January 6th. They're all doubling down. I was there in January 6th, but I'm at least common sense enough to see what has just happened. We got hoodwinked by Donald Trump. Like we knew we would. We knew we would. They're all the same. They're two sides of the same coin. They're funded by the same multinational corporatists. And, Trump came in as an outsider. And maybe for his first term, he did some things that were really interesting. He tried to be a revolutionary person and change the thing, repent. But now he's just buying back into the same damn system, going into Iran because he probably pissed off some Rothschilds, amongst other things, and Israel. And he's being a good old boy because he's really not the most important person in the room. In fact, he's probably on the bottom of the pedestal of the wealthy multinational corporatists who really run the world. Those witches in the Council of 13 out there in Hollywood. You got the Bilderbergers who are going to be meeting, who knows, probably in Finland or Canada this year. I thought maybe United States, but that's what the inside sources are saying, either Finland or Canada. You got the people at the Club of Rome. You got the Wolfsburg Society. You got the Zodiac, which is 12 members. They're all just coming from all the angles. There's a lot of bullshit in the world today, and it's really hard to sort it all out. But I can tell you, at the end of the day, all that really matters is how you're going to prepare, how you're going to take care of your family, and building relationships and friends with the people around you. Because these evil people have really confirmed that this world is run by evil. Just put a D in front of it, and then you got devil. And if you spell evil backwards, you got life. Live, living. It's the opposite. And in news I never thought was going to be here, I thought it was going to take forever for this to really hit and everything. Science is going so fast right now, man, guys. Here, I want to put this on a screen. We saw all the robots in the beginning of the show. We saw what was going on, and here we have it. Reject optional cookies. Let's see what goes on here. Oh, here it is. All right. This is the title. China just approved the very first brain implants for commercial use. Cyberpunk 2077, more like Cyberpunk 2026. And if you don't know what cyberpunk culture is, there was a role-playing game I played back in the day called Shadowrun, right? You can upgrade your body. You could add chips to your body that do different things. They access the ATM. Maybe we should have Zoltan Istvan on to talk about the cyberpunk world. But the cyberpunk world are basically run by cyborgs. You're half human. You got tattoos that glow in the dark or light up, or, you can power USB devices by plugging them into your body, things of that nature. That is where we are heading. But the fact that China just approved the very first brain implant for commercial use, that means we're going to have some changes. We're going to have people that have chips in their head that may malfunction. You're going to die because a chip fails. There's an EMP, or you're going to walk through a microwave and you're going to go and start drooling all over yourself. You're going to start shaking uncontrollably. Neuromedical's technology invasive brain-computer interface has been given the green light in China for people with partial spinal cord injuries. That's right, and it's very cool that you'll be able to walk again until AI decides it's going to download itself into your spinal cord. You're going to be doing kung fu because the cops are going to need you to go arrest that villain over there, so they're going to use your meat suit, take over your body, and you're going to arrest that person. Isn't that what the Matrix is about? Or you're going to be able to download memories into that person's body, monitor everything they do at all times. The device is a type of brain-computer interface and is made by the Shanghai-based company Neuracle Medical Technology, a potential rival of Elon Musk's BCI startup Neuralink. Where are all the videos of their evil testing on monkeys? Because they had to test this on something, right? And in China, I'm sure, probably people that didn't pay their taxes. You think I'm joking? I don't know. Brain implants have been used as part of the clinical trials for decades, but this is the first time such a device has been approved for a broad use in patents. So you are going to be getting brain-computer interfaces into your body. This is before the non-invasive BCIs come in. It won't be long till you'll be able to. So once you get a BCI, and they're getting commercialized for health reasons. What about BCIs, brain-computer interfaces, for the real business, other than this, which is entertainment? Well, Kristan, how could you use a brain chip interface for entertainment? How could you use a brain chip interface for entertainment? Well, think about downloading games into your mind that turn off your visual cortex, your audio ability of your ears, and replace it with a fictitious virtual world. You ever see Demolition Man, where they put in the helmet and they make love, and he's like, oh, he pulls off the helmet and he goes, no, I just want to kiss a damn girl. And that's how they have intercourse. Well, imagine just giving yourself a dopamine kick and you're there, sleeping with whoever it is that you dream about sleeping with, or whatever patent that the industry does, and you're going to just become some pornographic lush, going into the virtual world and never having intercourse, because you won't need to. You'll be better than intercourse because you'll think you are, and you won't reproduce children. Again, and game, postgenderism. I think it's very fascinating. It's interesting all around. So we got to think about what kind of future we want. People out there believing the gay, dumb, stupid, whole Project Anchor, we're going to go floating off the planet. The Christians are so gullible and susceptible to echo chambers. Most of them don't think for themselves, and if they don't know the answer, they want to take you to the pastor because he will tell you what they believe, and that's just ludicrous to me. If I don't know, I'll ask questions, but I'm not going to go ahead and go out there and make claims and be part of something that I don't know anything about or I haven't researched thoroughly, especially when it comes to the importance of my soul. So that being said, don't believe what you see on TikTok. Don't believe what you see with the AI deepfakes. Don't believe everything you hear and question your reality every part of the day. Put your nose into the books that haven't been changed. We know we don't know much about history and how accurate it is, but we can look at these biblical senses. No, gravity is not going to vanish. And yes, the Epstein files need more research because I'm sure there's a lot more in there that we're being diverted from because of this war in Iran. Because now they're talking about all it's going to take. It's funny. Trump's willing to start World War III, which Albert Pike talked about, which will be between the Muslims and the Jews. Because once they kill each other, then Christians will stand up, and it'll be the atheists versus the Christians. And then, Lucifer can reign. That's what he says. If you don't believe me, read his letter to Giuseppe Mazzini from 1871. 3 world wars. And then we got all these potential terrorist cells in the United States. We had open borders. Who do you think was coming in? Liberals? Do you think it was just, we got to love the Latinos are coming in? Oh, they weren't the only ones coming in. You don't think terrorists were just coming across the border because they're open? Oh, yeah. And you guys are going to try to paint yourselves as the heroes and try to ban the guns once all these crazy terrorists start impacting our society by potentially bombing places, poisoning water supplies. Half the water will come to blood, or a third of it. A lot of people out there believe what they are sold. A lot of people out there will watch a TikTok video and all of it, and the world is coming to an end. We got to prepare. We're going to use this to renew our faith. This is what the rapture looks like. We're going to spread a bunch of bullshit propaganda to Christians. We'll start talking about Project Anchor, which isn't even a real thing. There's no evidence of it. Somebody probably just made it up in some 4chan forum who used to work for Epstein, because that's the way that shit's been working. In the chat today, we got Kathleen Quest. Great show as per usual, Kristan. Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen Quest. The gravity thing sounds like a psyop. Kimmy, I agree. The gravity thing does sound like a psyop. And I'm telling you right now, it is. The robots are coming. They're learning kung fu. Like, wasn't it 2 years ago? They're like big and bulky and plugged in and everything, but now they're coming for your home. They're going to be putting them in every home. They're starting to look attractive. They're doing things with their tongues. Like that's like, go back. If you're listening to this broadcast, go to rumble.com/The Rundown Live, watch the video and see the intro, What's on TV 15. But in Hoaxville, Anchor Project is definitely not real. We need your support here at The Rundown Live. If you want to support this broadcast, buy me a coffee. You can support us through Venmo. You can go to Spotify and listen to the audio. Go to band.video, check out the video. But most importantly, groundzeroplus.com. Subscribe to get all our episodes. You can hear this broadcast live weekdays from noon till 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on Ground Zero Plus. That is the home of the Rundown Live. And you can Venmo me. We are 100% listener funded. I can't do it without you. And I'm not going to beg, but I'm going to tell you, we need your help to grow this broadcast. We'll be back tomorrow with Brad Olson. We're going to be talking Antarctica, what's going on there, and a whole bunch more. I'm your host, Kristan T. Harris. Till tomorrow.
Hey, what's that? A Nightscope K5. A what? A Nightscope K5. It's a 300-pound police robot that looks like R2-D2 that can detect abnormal noise and temperature change or known criminals. It will alert local authorities. Malls, sporting arenas, communities everywhere is getting robots.
No way. It kinda looks like a Dalek from Doctor Who.
The all-seeing mobile robots will wirelessly connect to a centralized data server where authorities will have access to big data, making it possible to recognize faces, license plates, and other suspicious anomalies. You know, big data. Your Facebook, Tinder, conversations, banking history, credit purchase history.
That sounds like a Dalek to me.
Have you ever heard of Stingray technology or Hailstorm?
No.
Boy, you need to tune into Kristan T. Harris. That's how I feed my brain.
Is that who I think it is?
Yep, sure is. Did you hear he ditched the man cave and brought back the study?
That's so sexy. I love it when a man is educated and informed.
He is so dreamy. Always reading books and investigating history.
Where do you think he works out?
The library.
He is so controversial, always talking about 9/11 being an inside job, the police state, constitutional rights, ancient history, government cover-ups, and how he thinks sports don't matter in real life.
Oh, I love a freethinker who searches for truth.